Hey, this is Jen Merritt. In today's website creation class, we're going to be working with the Gathering Peace website template. I'm going to show you from beginning to end how I would take this template and move over a website, specifically Soul Center Massage and Bodywork. I'm going to be using some of the content that I've already gathered around transforming this website from WordPress, which I'm not really a fan of, and moving it into a new web editor where everything is bigger, bolder. I like the content management system a little bit better. And so just to give you an idea of another website that this template used is Salon90. So salon90.net. And when you're looking at this website, we had made two different logos for her. There's the links that this is a one-page website. There's also a blog. The press page is a blog. And we shifted the contact form of the template into a gift card option. So there's lots of room to personalize this website where there's different blocks that you're starting with, but as you grow, for example, you can see that here the gift card looks like this, whereas the starting point of that is this contact form right here. So that's how much we can make changes in our website. Specifically for Salon90, I'm going to be removing this section here, and in its place I'm going to be adding a Vimeo video. So you'll get to see how you can drop new elements into your website to make this theme your own. I'm looking at the dashboard for the web editor. Here you'll see a burger menu on the left-hand side. When you open this up, you'll see redirections, backups, website export, preferences, help, and shortcuts. The most important thing right now that I want you to know about this is backups. So as you're editing your website, it will back up where you're at, but it doesn't save the name. So you can occasionally back up your website here. So if you do make a mistake, you can revert back to the version of your website that you saved here. On the top menu options, we have an eye icon where you can preview your website, open preview website, presentation mode, share presentation link, and link to feedback tool. The thing here that I want you to know is the preview control P. So if you are in this mode of your website, you'll still see the header bar, but you won't have options to edit your website, and you will be able to see what your website looks like on the front end. Whereas on the back end, for example, when you're in the editor mode, if I click on contact, nothing happens because I'm in the editor mode. Also, the website is going to look different in the editor mode. Like in the editor mode here, the contact form is at the bottom of the page, where in the actual website, the contact form isn't at the bottom. It opens up as a pop-up. We also have this reload page icon. So every now and then when you make an update, you might need to reload the page in order to see that update. Next to that, you have a save icon. When you need to save your website, this will show up as orange. So for example, if I change this title, which I'm going to be changing it to Soul Center Treats Mind, Body, and Spirit at its core at the Soul Center. So I'm going to copy that and paste that here, and then click the check box. Now you can see the save icon turned orange because I need to save the website. Next to that, we have desktop, tablet, and cell phone version of your website. So I've edited websites where each of these options was actually a different website altogether. So every time I changed the text, I had to change the text in the desktop, the tablet, and the cell phone. It was super redundant, such a pain in the ass. Whereas here, you will have the same website on all 3 devices. You don't have to have different websites that you have to make changes on all 3. However, you might want to have some elements on the desktop and some elements on the mobile application. So you might see something where it says this is hidden on the desktop or this is hidden on the cell phone version of your website. The other thing you're going to see is you can look at different screen sizes on your website or on the cell phone. You can look at different types of cell phones. This is really just showing you what your website is going to look like. So if I were to click on cell phone, iPhone 6S, and scroll down, this is what my website would look like. I've had clients that are like, this text right here, there's one line, that's not good for, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. And you want to be visually appealing. However, every single device is going to be slightly different. So if you manage to get it down to so that there's no one words in one cell phone, there's going to be 10 other cell phone types and 3 other browsers where there might be one word. So save time by not being too picky about some of your design elements. Websites that are that detailed, they're coded, and there's probably like 15 people working on that website full time. Like $60,000, $100,000 might go into that website to be that kind of picky. So, and that's not what we're going for. You know, we want to have something to share information and have it all in one place. You might be building your website to show credibility. You might, you know, whatever it is that your reason is for having your website, you don't need to be that picky. So next to that, we have a few elements, lock 100%. I'm not going to worry about every little thing in here because I want to give you the most important things for starting out. So I'm going back to the desktop option. Next, we have design. That's going to open up menu options on your right for text, colors, buttons, layout, and store. We're not going to get into all of these elements in this video. We're going to get into the ones that are most applicable starting out. We'll also get into pages and more later on in the video. So now I want you to know in this aspect of your editor, we have an info bar, a header menu. So most websites have a header, a body, and a footer. The header and the footer are usually the same content throughout your website. So in this header, we have a menu bar with a logo. Next to the logo, I have an image container so that if you have an image as a logo, you can upload that. If you do not, you have a text placeholder where you can add the text of what you want your logo to be, or the top of your website to be. Then we have a menu. So within each website, these are called containers. So the menu bar has a container. The H3 header tag is in a container. The menu is in a container. This is 2 columns in the header. Then in the next section, you have the preset container. Then you have this side of the container and then this side of the container. This image here is the background image. Whereas if I scroll down, this image here is entered in as an image. So you can put an image in the background of a container, or you can drop an image in like its own element. An element is, for example, a headline, a text, an image, a new container, a spacer. So if you have 2 elements and you want to give space between those elements, you would drop a spacer in. A separator might be like a line in between 2 elements. HTML is when you're taking code from something else. For example, you have a MailChimp and you go into MailChimp and you grab the HTML code and then you want to drop it into your website. You can add an icon, a button, logo. The logo is an option where you can have that logo element, and when you go to change your logo, everywhere on your website the logo element is, it'll change it. So it does save you time if you're placing your logo in multiple places on your website. So you can scroll through these. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. If you want to add a document or a video, if you want to add a menu, an image slider, you can also scroll through. So those are individual elements. You can scroll through content options, columns, boxes, accordions. So there are different ways that content is. There's a button and information, a button, information, and you click on the buttons and different information will pop up. Tables, features. So you can look at these like, for example, typewriter. If I were to drop that into my website, it would look like text typing up onto the screen. A timeline. Like, I just encourage you, once you've done the foundation of changing text and changing images and you start to explore this platform, know that you can drop in these elements to make the website your own. So at this point, I'm going to go get into making some changes on your website. First, we're just going to work on changing text. Just that. Get really good at changing text, then get really good at adding pictures. So I've already dropped in this text. I'm going to double click. Another way to edit text is to take your mouse and scroll it over the container. So you can see here's the container that's the whole preset. Here's the container that is where the text is, and there's 3 little dots. That will give me an option to say edit. At that point, there's options over here to edit the text box. What I want is to double click so that I can edit the text. So I'm going to say Soul Center. I'm going to capitalize it. For now, don't worry about changing colors and fonts. Just add the text that you want. Okay, so now we're going to update the next section. The preset container is right here. There's 3 little dots. You could change the background. Then there's the container that has the title, about, and I'm going to go, and here I'm going to copy mission statement. So you could double click and simply highlight it, what you want to change, and then type in mission statement. Or you can take the text that you want to copy and paste and copy and paste it. So now I'm going to copy and paste the mission statement. Here you'll notice that when I copy and pasted, I also copy and pasted the text, font, and color. So I'm going to highlight it, and then this icon here clears the formatting. So often you'll have to clear formatting on your text. In the next section, I'm going to add Michelle's bio and picture, but we're going to do the picture later. In the next section, I'm going to add about. And here I'm going to go to Soul Center, and I'm going to copy about. Make sure I'm getting all of it. And then I'm going to paste it. I'm also going to highlight it and clear formatting. And then save my website. So now I have the mission statement, our tagline, the about section. Well, I could say about Michelle Levinsky. In the next section, I'm going to put different styles of massage. So I'll copy deep tissue. Shock massage. Raindrop therapy. Click on the check mark icon. And Shirodara. Now, these text box are a little quirky. So as you'll see, when I copy and paste the information, the theme itself has connected this content to the color white. So when I and I had already gone in and changed it. And that's why when you first click on this and you copy and paste it, and then you clear formatting, it automatically goes to white text. So at that point, you have to click on this pencil icon and change the color. So I'm going to change it to primary color. And then the other thing this is doing is the bullet points are a little off. So I'm going to highlight just the bullet points, click on the bullet point editor to remove them, and then click on it again to bring them back. So now this one is a little space weird. So I'm going to go by the E, click on this, delete it, and then put it back again. And that fixes it. So that's just formatting because I'm copying and pasting. If you were to type it in, you might not have that obstacle. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for each one of these techniques. So I'm going to highlight what I'm copying, or you could type it in. I'm going to clear formatting. I'm going to change the color to primary. I'm going to fix those little typos of removing the bullet points and then adding them. That looks good. Click the check mark box and then save. And for now, I'm just going to do these 4. I'm sorry, I have 2 little foster puppies and they are talking a lot. They just ate and they have a lot of room to play. So I'm going to highlight the text, clear formatting, change the color, click the X, the check mark, and then I'm going to go through and change the bullet points. Nice. I'm going to save my website. This section here on this website, I'm going to change altogether. So I'm going to say conscious, connected, breathwork class. And I'm going to add a video. So I'll show you how to drop in a video. But first, I'm going to just focus on text. So the conscious, connected breathwork text. Learn about breathwork. Copy. And paste. Highlight, clear formatting. I'm going to highlight learn about breathwork and make that bold, and then save that and save my website. I'm not going to do anything else at this point for that section. In this section, I'm going to say featured service. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to grab information for the Soul Center Massage and Bodywork Sampler. Oh my gosh, these little puppies are so cute. So in each one of these, I'll highlight the different titles and make it bold. And then I'm going to add a couple space bars to make a new line. So a lot of the text options is really similar to Word and other documents that I'm sure you've used. And then save. And now I'm going to add in information for location. So at some point, I'm going to turn this into a link and I'll show you how to do that. For now, I'm just going to focus on text and add the location and contact information. Okay. So now we have all of our text done on our website. The next step I'm going to show you is about images. So this image section right here in this container is a background image. This image right here is dropping an image in. So I'm going to go to this container and then I'm going to click on the background image right here to change that image. The folder icon will take you to where you've already uploaded images, or you could use stock photography, or you could upload an image that you have on your device. So for this, I'm going to upload an image. I'm going to click the check box, and this image looks good. I don't need to make any changes. Okay, so that looks good. Scrolling down, the next image we're going to change is this cat. So we're going to click on the three little dots, or double click, edit, and then I'm going to upload an image. And here I'm going to put a headshot of Michelle. If I were to want to change this image, like crop it, I could double click on it, and then this icon right here will crop the picture. And at that point, I can move the little green dots around so that I'm shaping the image where I want it to be. And then use the check mark and save it. Nice. So scrolling down, I'll change each one of these pictures by double clicking, going to the upload, so on this one, I'm going to double click the image, click the crop icon, and I'm going to drag that image around so that I can frame the image around what I want people to see. So I want this image to fit the text box. So I'm going to make sure I'm in the image container, the three little dots here, and say edit. And then scroll down, make sure it says fit image. And this box size is 562. So I'm going to change 391 to 562. And then I'm going to save it. For these pictures, I'm going to reuse a couple of the pictures that I've already used. Okay, so now I've changed all of the images. So if you have a logo, you can, if you don't have a logo, you can type in Soul Center Massage in this text box. If you have a logo, then you would go to the image container, that you would go to the image container next to that, scroll over it, click the three little dots, say edit, and then upload your logo. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to crop this so that I can see the whole logo. And now I'm going to delete this text box. So highlight it and delete. I want to make this logo a little bit bigger, so I'll double click on that to edit it, and it says width 99. I'm going to make it 150. Maybe a little bigger. 250. 200. There we go. I'm going to save it. So next we want to update the information bar that's at the top of the website. So the way that we're going to add information here is going to more and website settings. So in website settings, we have the website name. We can add our logo here. I'm going to go ahead and add the logo. It will give you the option to automatically pick colors. I'm going to say no because I want to pick my own colors, and we will do that in a little bit. Preview image. When someone sends your website to someone else, the preview image is what that person will see. So if someone sends the URL and posts it on Facebook, this is the image that will pop up. I'm going to go ahead and save my website. So make sure you're continually saving. And then go back to more website settings. In data, this is where that information bar will get its information. So you can type in your name, the information that you would want to show up. Perfect. Now that's done. So we've changed our text, we've changed some images. Our logo is done. The next thing we're going to change is some of the design elements. So if you go to design, you can see text, colors, buttons, layout, and store. Today we're going to work with text, colors, and buttons. So under the text option, we have standard, bold, and links. In each of these, you'll see a link for headlines. So that's the H1, H2, H6. So each one of those creates a hierarchy of like what's important on your site. So something in H1 is more important than something in H3. So you can scroll through here and change your colors and also change your font. So when adding a new font, it will look like this. Manage fonts. From here, you select a couple different fonts that you want to use, and you can select headlines or default, and you can see what available fonts there are. So I use Montserrat a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and click Montserrat. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to replace the dancing script with Montserrat, and I'm going to use that for my headlines. I'm going to use Open Sans for the majority of my font. So now I've selected new fonts. I'm going to exit out of here, save my website, go back to design, and you'll see in text it changed to Open Sans. In headline, I can choose the font, Open Sans, or any of the fonts that I had previously. So I'm going to use Montserrat. So now I'm checking H1 through H6. H1 is still dancing script, so I'm going to change that one to Open Sans. And then all is Montserrat. So you can feel free to like play with these different options: line height, bold, font weight, letter spacing, standard, bold, and links. Make sure links are that you have underline for links. Because that gets really confusing if that's not. And underneath the standard, bold, and links, you have default and hover and active. Also make sure you make those changes. So I'm going to change this red color to primary and make sure that's underlined. So you can scroll through this website and see what that looks like. I do want to make the H1 the H1 font smaller. So I'm going to go to Design, Text, H1. It's font size 80. I'm going to make it 55. Perfect. And then I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to go into Design, Colors, and I'm going to change these colors. So the background color for her website is going to be Atomic Tangerine. Custom color 1 is going to be an orangish brown color. I'm going to save and reload my page. So now I'm going to go and change the colors of my buttons. And that's it. Save. Now, if you decide you don't want the information bar or any section, you would just highlight it and then click delete. It's going to say delete children as well. If you say unpack, then it's going to be just deleting one element in that container. But if you want to delete the whole section, you would say delete. So this section here has a couple different color options that I've already put in the layout. So there's a gradient in the background. So if I go to this container here and I click the 3 little dots and then edit, and then I go to background, I'll see none, color gradient, and element. Element would be if I wanted to add an image to the background. And color gradient is where I've picked 2 colors and then I've changed the angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and update those 2 colors that I've picked. So in this section, I'm going to delete this text box. There's the preset, which is all 4 of the containers. Then there's the, see these 2, I moved my mouse down a little bit and these 2 boxes showed up. So you move your mouse around, 2 little boxes show up. Image, and then these 2 containers. So I want to change the background to each of these to white. So I'm going to have to select this middle container in order to do that. 3 little dots, edit, and then background white. And I'm going to do that with each of these 4 containers. So I'm going to go to the container that's in the middle, the 3 little dots, edit, and white. So editing your website is very much like just getting to know all these different little nuances, because as you change things, it's going to change and it's going to be unique to you. So you'll get to know like where the right containers are for what you want to do. And at some point the bulk of it will be done, and you'll just be updating a text or updating a button, and it'll be super easy and simple. So now for this section here, I want to add a video. So I'm going to go ahead and make this text a different color. I'm going to delete this preset altogether. I'm going to right click on Learn About Breathwork, and I'm going to say Add Content, and I'm going to go to More Elements, and I'm going to say Add a Vimeo. So from there, I'm going to click the three little dots here, Edit, and then I'm going to grab the link for that video that I want to add. So you can add a YouTube or Vimeo, and then I'm going to save it. I do have some more information about this class that I want to add, so I'm going to right click on the video, click on the three little dots, and then say Add Content, and then I'm going to say Text. Another way to do that would be to go to Elements on the left-hand side. For example, I'd like to add a spacer, and then I'll grab that spacer. A little green bar shows up. I'll drag the spacer into the website. It says 50 pixels. I'm going to make it 30. So if you make this height bigger, it'll make it bigger. If you make it smaller, you can kind of play with the size of your spacer. You could also change the background color, like if you double click on it to edit it, and then say Style, and then Preset, Background, and then change the color. That would change the color of that element. I'm going to grab the text for the class. Highlight everything, clear formatting. I'm going to change the color to primary. Font color. I'm going to make About This Class bold. I'm going to add some bullet points. So that's how you add a video. You can change your text, change your colors. Like I'm looking at You'll Learn. This color did not show up what I wanted it to be, so I'm highlighting it. I'm going to click on it and click Font Color. Change that blue to brown. Sometimes things show up and they're just a little quirky. You kind of have to move things around and you get to know it. You know, it's like driving, you get to know the directions. So here I'm noticing this image didn't fit the text box and there's a little white spot behind it. So I might click on that. I'm going to crop it and then drag that up. There we go. In this section, we're going to change the map to the correct address. So I'm going to click on the three little dots around Map, Edit, Street Map, Center Markers, Location. And I'm going to change that location to the correct one. Oops, I accidentally deleted it. Just use the backspace. Nice. So the address is right. I'm going to change your logo. I'm going to delete it and add an image. Insert 250. So at this point, you should be pretty comfortable with adding images. You should be pretty comfortable with your text. Play around with adding elements and looking at the different features for that. The next step we're going to change is our menu. So next to the menu, I'm going to click on the three little dots and say edit. Here we have menu, style, auto, and custom. So we're doing custom so that way we can choose which items are in this menu. If I do auto, every menu item that I have a page for would show up. That in the pages section, in the settings for that page, if I say menu, then it would automatically set up. So that's a different thing. We're not going to get into that right now. But on the left-hand side, so when you click the three little dots and say edit, auto custom, stay with custom. So with links, you have none. So if you want it to just say like, about, but you don't want that to link to a page, you want to have a sub menu underneath of it, then you might use that feature of none. Page is going to link to a page in your website. External would be a page in someone else's website, something off of your site. Whenever you use an external link, make sure it opens up in a new page so that way they're staying on your website. Element will go to a feature on your website. So it allows you to link to a specific container. Phone will automatically dial you, and if you're on the desktop, it might look for that person's requested option like Skype or it's usually Skype. And then or email, and it would open up that person's preferred way of emailing someone. So here we have home, which is the home page. The next section is an element, and it jumps to the next section. So I'm going to change it. So this icon here, the four little dots, I'm going to go here. And then instead of section 1, I'm going to type in mission statement. Then I'm going to scroll down. The next one is an element. I'm going to click on the four little dots and then scroll down to massage services. And I'm going to click on that container. And then I'm going to say services. And actually massage mission statement, I actually want to change to about. So for section 3, I'm going to do breathwork class. I'm going to click on the four little dots, scroll down to the container here, click on that. It automatically uses the code for the breathwork class. Soul Center Massage and Bodywork Sampler. I am going to have to, so for the Soul Center Massage and Bodywork Sampler, I'm going to add a link. So I'm going to click on this icon here for plus. I'm going to click on the four little dots, click on this container, and then I'm going to say featured service. And I'll show you for this, rather than having it I'm going to have this under services. So if I click on it and drag it, I just move it up. So I click, drag, move it up. And I want to go to, I'm going to drag it to services, and then I'm going to drag it so it's a little bit over. So you can, I'm going to do this again so you can see. So look at the little line that gets highlighted here. See how it's the whole width of that column? I'm going to drag it up and over, and see how it's not the whole width, it's a little bit over. That makes it underneath of services. So now I'm going to save it. And then I'll click on preview, and you can see home, about, services, underneath services, featured service, breathwork class, blog we haven't done yet, and contact form. So next I'll show you how to update the contact form. So I'm going to go to the eye icon and say an exit preview. So now I'm back in the editor. So now my menu is mostly done. We haven't done the blog yet. To change the contact form, I'm going to click on the contact form, click on the three little lines and say edit. I'm actually in the background of the contact form. So I want that preset to say contact. Here we go. So next to the form, I'm going to click on the three little dots and say edit. Here it says general form. You can change the title of it. Send email, that's important. For the recipient, type in your email address. That's so when someone fills out this form, it will go to you. Sender leave blank. Subject, feel free to change the subject of the form. The email text, you can change that here. From there, there's styling options you can change. We're not going to get into that today. Go ahead and save. But now this form will be emailed to you and it will work. So for sections, I'm going to change company, double click. And instead of company, I'm going to say full name. I'm going to make it required. For name, I can go ahead and delete that. Name, phone, email, message. If I want to add something, I could take an input and just copy and paste, and then go ahead and change it from phone to address. If I want to remove something, I just highlight it and delete it. So that's how you update your basic contact form. I'm going to go ahead and preview the site at this point. So we have our logo, home, about, services, breathwork class, blog, and contact. We haven't worked with the content management. In the next video, we'll go over content management, the blog, and I'll go into more detail about the contact form. So as you can see here, it scrolls down to the different elements on the page. We've learned a little bit about updating the menu. You can play with adding presets to make the website more your own. In another video, we'll also get into making changes to the blog, changing the legal notice, the privacy, the blog post, adding a new page, and also we'll go over these different elements of, like, when you click on the settings icon, you can change the URL slug, the SEO title, SEO description, and SEO keywords based on that page. I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a great day.